Welcome back to High Stakes. Elevate your game by subscribing to our channel so you never miss our daily content. For exclusive access to our premium betting picks, join our Patreon. Find the link in the comments section below. Stay ahead with High Stakes. Arizona Diamondbacks versus Miami Marlins. Eduardo Rodriguez is a veteran that should begin to get going with more reps back at the big league level, while Edward Cabrera is 0-1 with a 4.11 ERA and a 1.37 WHIP in 35.0 innings, 7 home starts. These teams since the All-Star break have shown a significant difference at the plate, as the Diamondbacks are best in MLB with a .853 team OPS, while the Marlins are 16th with a .725 team OPS. In the second half, go with the Arizona Diamondbacks to secure a win on the road here. When looking at how these offenses have been doing incredibly well throughout the last few weeks, the Diamondbacks are scoring 6.14 runs in their last 14 games, while the Marlins are averaging 3.85 runs in their previous 13 games. These bullpens throughout the season have been struggling, as Arizona is 21st with a 4.14 reliever ERA, while Miami is 15th with a 3.92 bullpen ERA so far. All in all, go with the over as the better bet. Colorado Rockies versus Washington Nationals. Washington and Colorado have both struggled this season, but this is a good spot to take the Nationals on the ML at home here. Hers has been decent at home this season, while Washington has the better offense, which will be the difference in this game. This season, the Nationals are 7-7 as a home favorite, while the Rockies 17-46 as a road underdog, as Colorado struggles away from home, and that should continue here. Take the Nationals on the money line. The over is also a good spot in this game, as both Hers and Gomber have their struggles with walks and giving up hard contact, which should lead to runs. This season, Colorado is 62-59-4 in hitting the over, and Washington is 62-57-6, while at home is 29-27-4 in hitting the over. Both teams' bullpens also have their struggles, which will help the over cash here. Take the over 8.5 runs. Cleveland Guardians versus New York Yankees. In the first series between these two, way back in mid-April, the Yankees won 2 of 3 games on the road. Both teams are a long way from that point in the season, but I'm expecting results to be similar. New York is 32-27 at Yankee Stadium this season, and they've won 3 of their last 4 games against the Guardians on their home turf. Cleveland's Boyd is a great story with his return, and he was certainly flying high in his debut. Now, he must face one of the game's top lineups and on the road, so results will be different this time around for the left-hander, who has a 5.39 career ERA in 90 outings on the road. On the other hand, Gill has been quite strong at Yankee Stadium this season, going 6-3 with a 2.90 ERA and 80 strikeouts over 62 innings. The Yankees are 7-3 in their last 10 games against the Guardians. Take the Yankees. The over went 2-1 in the 3 games between these clubs back in April. They averaged a combined 10 runs per game in that series, and it's fair to say both offenses have kept the pace to this point. The Yankees are second in the game with 5.08 runs per game, and Cleveland checks in with 4.4 runs per game, 13th best overall. Before being swept by the Brewers, the Guardians scored 5 runs or more in 3 of 4 games. In their last 9 games at home, New York scored 5 runs or more in 5. There have been 127 games between these teams which have hit the over this season. Take the over. Cincinnati Reds versus Toronto Blue Jays. Cincinnati is still batting for a playoff spot, as they are only a few games back of the wild card in the National League. The Blue Jays are the opposite, who are well off of the pace with a month and a half remaining. But I think Toronto is going to get this win on Tuesday night thanks to Jose Berrios. He has an ERA of 2.83 during home games and an ERA of 3.23 since the All-Star break. The Reds have struggled versus the American League, as they average .188 during that stretch. I expect Cincinnati to really struggle and perform poorly. They are also starting Carson Spears, who holds a 6.30 ERA during road games. Expect the Blue Jays to get to him early and often. Take Toronto to cover. The Reds' offense has been poor on the road this season. They are hitting .232 when playing away from home, and they are hitting just .188 against the American League. They will be in for a tough test against Jose Berrios, who has an ERA of 2.83 during home games. Expect very little offensive production from the Reds in this game. The Blue Jays have also scored the 9th fewest amount of runs this year. Take the under on Tuesday. Baltimore Orioles versus New York Mets. We're pretty close to a pick 'em in this game, and I guess that's what we should expect with a couple of starting pitchers with similar numbers. Dean Kramer comes in with a 4.48 ERA and 1.28 WHIP, while Jose Quintana has a 4.26 ERA and 1.29 WHIP. Neither team has been lighting it up lately, so I'm just going to take a shot with the better overall team, the Baltimore Orioles. It's not every day that we get a plus money payout with the O's, so I think it's worth playing them in this spot. The biggest statistic that stands out to me is that Baltimore has crushed left-handers this year. Against LHP, they're ranked second in WRC+, 120, WOBA, .335, and ISO, .190. For those unfamiliar, ISO is used as a metric for power, and we all know that's what the Orioles do best. They still lead the league in home runs this year with 193 of them. Meanwhile, Quintana brings in a slightly elevated 1.40 HR/9 rate, so we could see Baltimore's offense pop off. Let's ride with the Orioles on the money line. I think this is a great spot for Baltimore's offense to bounce back and score some runs. Quintana hasn't been sharp recently, posting a 6.89 ERA over 3 starts, 15.2 IP this month. On the flip side, Kramer is coming off a decent start, but still brings in a 5.87 ERA over 3 outings, 15.1 IP this month. He'll take on a New York offense that's a top 10 unit over the last 14 days, ranking 9th in both WRC+, 117, and WOBA, .331. With neither pitcher in their best form and a couple of offenses who can explode, I think the best way to play the total is locking in the over. Philadelphia Phillies versus Atlanta Braves. The Philadelphia Phillies have a 7-3 record as favorites against National League East teams on the road this season. Zach Wheeler is 6-2 with an ERA of 2.17 and 103 strikeouts in 14 appearances for the Phillies against the Braves in his career. Wheeler having such a low ERA despite having so many appearances leads me to believe he feels comfortable facing the Braves. This coupled with the Braves losing a key component to their offense in Austin Riley, I am not expecting much out of the Braves' offense today. The Phillies will only need a few runs to overtake the Braves in what looks like to be a low-scoring game. There is great value in taking the top team in baseball on the money line, and I see no reason not to take advantage of it. I am taking the Philadelphia Phillies on the money line. The Atlanta Braves have an over-under record of 6-11 against the National League East teams at home this season. For the Phillies, they have a 5-7 over-under record on the road versus National League East teams. In their 3 games this season played in Atlanta, the Phillies and Braves have an over-under record of 1-2. The Braves are going to struggle against Zach Wheeler like they have in the past, and without one of their top batters, we should see them not score many runs. Reynaldo Lopez in his career has an ERA of 2.57 and may give the Phillies some trouble scoring, but ultimately will allow the couple runs needed for their win. I am going with the under at 8. Milwaukee Brewers versus Cardinals. The Milwaukee Brewers have defied the odds this season, overcoming the loss of manager Craig Counsell to their arch-rival Chicago Cubs and the trade of 2021 Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burnes to the Baltimore Orioles. Despite these significant setbacks, along with a slew of injuries that have decimated their roster, the Brewers have emerged as the NL Central's dominant force, building the largest division lead of any team in Major League Baseball. Currently riding a 5-game winning streak, Milwaukee leads the NL Central by 11 games over the St. Louis Cardinals. Pat Murphy, who took the team's managerial role this season after serving as the Brewers' bench coach since 2016, has a chance to make history as the first Milwaukee skipper to be named Manager of the Year. Under his leadership, the Brewers have not only survived, but thrived despite the challenges. They played the first 4 months without two-time NL reliever of the year Devin Williams due to stress fractures in his back. Their once formidable starting rotation was in shambles, with Burns gone, two-time All-Star Brandon Woodruff sidelined by shoulder surgery, and veteran Wade Miley and rookie Robert Gasser both undergoing Tommy John surgery after just a few starts. Take Milwaukee Brewers to win. Also take over 8.5 runs.